This one to deep left field, high, deep, and that ball is gone. Into the monster seats, a 2-run home run for Rutledge. And it is to left field. Bradley got kind of a late break. He dives forward and makes a spectacular catch. Strike 3 on Hosmer. Now Red Sox pitching thanks to that guy as well. Retiring the last 12 Kansas City Royals they face in the ball game. Welcome to Fenway Park as the fans make their way in for Game 3 of a 4-game series between the Kansas City Royals and the Boston Red Sox. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo along with Jerry Remy. Welcome to Red Sox baseball. Well, the Red Sox right now playing some very good baseball against a very good team, and the Red Sox, for the first time this year, have a chance to win 5 in a row. It's amazing they haven't won 5 in a row so far this year, but they do have that chance tonight because the last 4 games has been very good for the Boston Red Sox, both offensively and also pitching-wise. You see the average at .333, scoring over 6 runs per game, 19 extra base hits, a team ERA of 1.50, combination of starters and relievers, and opponents only hitting 188. So it's been a nice little stretch for the Red Sox, and in particular for the young players who've been playing very, very well. Red Sox, as we mentioned tonight, hope to make it 5 in a row for the first time in 2015. And for the Red Sox so far this season has been about the young guns who are having a chance to play right now and getting it done. Part of this 4-game winning streak. They've all combined to get it done. Garrett Austin will delve into that when we come back to Fenway Park right after this. New Audi A3 today. Digital Federal Credit Union. See what DCU can save you. Toyota's website for deals by Toyota.com. DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of your Boston Red Sox. The Kia Sorrento. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at Southwest.com. We welcome you back to Fenway Park as we get ready for Game 3 of a 4-game series between the Red Sox and the Royals. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo. Well, we've reached that stage of the season with 6 weeks remaining, and, of course, September the 1st not that far away, where the Red Sox are going to take a good long look at what they have in the minor league system and who will be here for 2016. Garrett Austin right now, that young gun collection doing very well.
That's right, Don. As the Sox look to make it 5 in a row, interim manager Torey Lovullo credited the younger players for the success on the field. Lovullo said they're playing with energy, they're having fun, and they're fun to watch.
I think these younger players have finally gained a little traction. They're starting to get a good feel for what it takes to be a major league player. Some of the guys that have been here all year, some of the guys that are joining us, there's really good continuity. There's a really good vibe that these young players create. They like one another. They get along on and off the field, and you're seeing that play out right now. I think that's why we're being so successful on the field. I think these guys are having fun playing with a lot of energy, and they're really coming into their own.
Thanks very much, Garen. Well, tonight a good pitching matchup. Yordano Ventura, 7-7 with a 4.82 ERA, matched up against Matt Barnes' 23rd appearance, just his second major league start. First pitch is next. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Welcome back to Fenway Park. A very comfortable night here tonight as the Red Sox host the Kansas City Royals in Game 3 of a 4-game series. Fans getting settled in here for this third game of the series. And the Red Sox trying to grab their 5th win in a row, having won their last 4 straight. And tonight they hand the baseball to Matt Barnes, who'll be getting his second major league start. Barnes having to face a very good Kansas City Royals lineup. And for whatever reason, the Royals, who were extremely good last year, of course, taking the Giants to 7 games in the World Series last year, and this year with 73 wins coming into this series. Well, the Red Sox have played them very tough each of the last 2 years, and for whatever reason, the Red Sox have dominated. We'll see how things shake down tonight as the Red Sox take the field tonight at Fenway Park. As they do, let's check out the visiting Royals starting lineup. It's brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers. Leading it off and at shortstop is Alcides Escobar, with Ben Zobrist played at third base last night, moves to left field tonight. Lorenzo Cain is in center with Eric Hosmer at first base. Kendrys Morales is the DH with Mike Moustakas, who had last night off, back at third base. Salvador Perez does the catching with Alex Rios in right field batting 8th, and Omar Infante at second base bats 9th. The Red Sox starting pitcher presented by your local New England Audi dealers. Matt Barnes on the mound for his 23rd appearance of the year. Second major league start. A record of 3-3 overall. A 6.59 earned run average. 29 strikeouts, and opponent sitting at 336 against Barnes. Monday against Cleveland did not go so well. 5 innings in the loss, giving up 6 runs. Walked 3, struck out 7 against the Tribe.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and they are now 12th in the American League with 73 errors on the season. Pablo Sandoval will be at third base, Andy Bogarts the shortstop, Josh Rutledge at second, and Travis Shaw the first baseman. Left to right, Hanley Ramirez, Mookie Betts, and Jackie Bradley Jr., and Blake Swihart doing the catching for Barnes.
Tonight's umpires are brought to you by Buick. Experience the new Buick lineup during this year's Sign and Drive. See your local Buick dealer today. Hunter Wintelstead has the plate. He's the crew chief calling the balls and strikes with Mike Everett at first base, David Rackley at second base, and Bob Davidson, the umpire, at third. Where available, this telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your television remote. Enjoy the game.
Buenas noches, amigos.
Now let's check out those conditions. 69 degrees to start the ball game. Breeze out to left at 8 miles per hour, and the forecast cloudy. There are some clouds above Fenway as we get it started. Lights are on. Now Alcides Escobar ready to lead it off here for Kansas City. Barnes looking to bounce back after that tough outing against the Indians last time out. Here we go. First pitch of the ball game is in there for strike one, and we're underway.
Escobar not happy with the first call of the game. Thought the ball was low.
Waves at that pitch, a fastball up and away, and he finds himself down 0-2. Lined and caught. Middle of the cap high by Sandoval at third base.
El Bonds, 3 pitches. The last pitch inside, and it's cleaned out by Escobar, but right at Pablo Sandoval. Just a little hop step to his right, and he's able to make the play.
So one down here in the top of the first inning brings up Ben Zobrist. Started the year as a member of the Oakland A's, now in Kansas City, hitting at .288. 10 homers, 46 runs batted in. His combined numbers between Oakland and KC, and fouls the first fastball back to the screen. Zobrist 1 for 8 in the series. The one part a double as he fouls this off to the left out of play. Doubled in the 4th inning of last night's game. Snapped an 0 for 16 skid at Fenway Park. Came around to score the Royals' first run in last night's game. To right center field, Betts will get over there to put it away. 2 down.
That's a good job there by Barnes and Swihart. They wanted to go upstairs with a fastball, and Barnes got the pitch there, and Zobrist chased it. The result, the fly ball was center field for the out. There you see Swihart setting up upstairs. That's exactly where the pitch goes from Barnes, and he records the second out of the inning.
So 2 down here in the first inning brings up Lorenzo Cain, a very good center fielder for Kansas City. That takes strike one. That's where the fastball's been, 94, 95 for Barnes out of the gate. Fouled off, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, so far that's all he's featured in this game so far, fastballs. And good ones. Try the breaking ball.
And it is lined into right center field for a base hit out of the reach of Rutledge. So Jackie Bradley Jr. will get it back in. It's a 2-out base hit for Lorenzo Cain.
Al Cain, who had been 0 for his last 10, picks up the base hit and the breaking ball. They wanted that pitch lower than it actually was. It became a very hittable pitch on a 0-2 count for Cain, and he takes it to the opposite field for the 2-out hit. Now let's see if they run on Barnes, because last time the Indians were running as soon as they possibly could, and Cain has 24 steals on the season.
Haynes' lead held on over there by Travis Shaw. Eric Hosmer, the batter. There he goes, right out of the gate. And with the shortstop moving, that gets through the left side. Ramirez will get it back in, but now it's first and third, and they weren't wasting any time at all.
Now, we saw that with Cleveland last time. I mean, they watched film of Barnes, and they realized that he does have a very slow delivery to home plate. So anybody that can run, they're going to take off. And that time, Bogart's covering second base. That leaves shortstop wide open. And first and third go the Royals. So we're going to see that all night long if they have base runners.
First and third, 2 down, and a chance here for Kendrys Morales. Designated hitter for the Royals. 286, 13 homers, and 83 runs batted in. In the air to left. Ramirez going back, and it's going to be over his head and off the scoreboard. From third, Kane scores. Hosmer's going to try and score. Here comes the throw from left, and it'll be late. 2 runs in for Kansas City, and the Royals, with 2 outs in the inning, score 2 quick runs to take a 2-0 lead.
You know, all we've talked about all series is how aggressive this offense is, and here's another example. First pitch fastball. Ramirez gets tied up back against the wall, and the ball bounces back in toward the infield, and that's going to allow 2 runs to come across.
Now the Red Sox going into a shift on Moustakas with Morales at second base, 2 down in the inning. Fast start here for Kansas City in the first inning. And a pitch outside for ball 1. And 2 quick outs, Escobar and Zobrist to begin the inning, but a single for Kane, single for Hosmer, and a 2-run double for Kendrys Morales. 2-0.
And because they're so aggressive, Barnes tries a couple of changeups, back-to-back changeups, and falling behind 2-0.
In 3-0.
Now Moustakas may have the green light here. 3 balls and no strikes.
Strike 1 at 92 miles an hour. The fastball in there. Moustakas with 12 home runs on the year. He bats now with Salvador Perez waiting on deck. Popped up. Foul ground. Swihart gets rid of the mask and puts it away to end the inning. But Kansas City scoring twice in the first inning on top 2-0. Down to a 2-0 advantage. Red Sox coming up here as we check out the Red Sox lineup. It's brought to you by your Eastern Hyundai dealers. Mookie Betts in center field, leading it off with Pablo Sandoval at third base and Xander Bogaerts at shortstop. David Ortiz, the DH, in the cleanup spot with Travis Shaw at first base. Hanley Ramirez in left field with Blake Swihart doing the catching. Jackie Bradley Jr. in right field, and Josh Rutledge at second base rounds out the starting 9. Here is Mookie Betts leading it off and taking a pitch inside for ball 1. Royals starting pitcher presented by New England Nissan dealers. 20th start for Ventura, 7-7 with a 4.82 ERA. Last time out, a no decision against Los Angeles. 7 innings, 2 runs, had 7 strikeouts.
Third time he has started against the Red Sox. He's 0-2 in his career against Boston with a 7.15 ERA.
And a fastball at 96 miles an hour by Betts.
Yeah, the Red Sox will see good velocity on that fastball. He'll throw the breaking ball and changeups. Very good changeup.
In the air to right, Alex Rios out there in a good spot, makes the catch for the first out here in the bottom of the first inning.
Now the Royals defense is brought to you by DraftKings, 7th in the league, 66 errors on the season. Mike Moustakas at third base, Alcides Escobar the shortstop, Omar Infante at second, Eric Hosmer the first baseman, left to right, Ben Zobrist, Lorenzo Cain, and Alex Rios, and Salvador Perez doing the catching for Ventura.
One down here in the first inning brings up Pablo Sandoval, who has settled in to the number 2 spot in the Red Sox order. Hitting there now with regularity as he takes a strike. Yordano Ventura from Samana of the Dominican Republic, producing one of the best rookie seasons, as this one is in the air to deep left field. Zobrist back, and it's going to be off the wall, and by Zobrist is Sandoval to second base with a stand-up double.
First time Sandoval has ever faced Ventura, and he extends his hitting streak now to 5 games by taking this pitch off the wall to the opposite field. A fastball that got deep right there on Sandoval, but he's able to put that ball high off the left field wall. It gets by Zobrist, and into second base with the double is Sandoval.
The 1-out runner at second base, and it brings up Xander Bogaerts. Red Sox shortstop toting a .313 average, 4 homers and 59 runs batted in. Bogaerts 6th in the league in batting average. League leader Jason Kipnis right now, the Indians, we have seen on this homestand, hitting at .324 right now, setting the pace in the American League. Ventura last year for the Royals 14-10 with a 3.20 earned run average last year in his rookie season. As a pitch right up and in.
He's not afraid to pitch inside with that fastball at 95, 96 miles an hour. Fastball running back inside on Bogaerts and gets the hands out of the way.
And 4 postseason starts, 5 overall appearances in the postseason, including 2 World Series starts. Tough pitch there, 97, the Bogaerts can't catch up to.
It looked like it also had a little sink to it, if that's possible.
Only postseason when he had Game 6 of the World Series, 7 shutout innings. Became the first Royals rookie to win a World Series game. Outside, and it's gathered by Perez. No advance for Sandoval at second base.
Nice block there by Salvador Perez. It's the curveball, and it comes back to him a little bit. Is able to block it and keep Sandoval at second base.
Bogaerts to right, and again Alex Rios out there in a good spot. Will make the catch. Sandoval not going anywhere, but Rios showing off the good arm as he gets it back in. 2 down. Well, Red Sox season ticket plans will soon be available for the 2016 season. For information about becoming a Red Sox season ticket holder, please call 617-226-6888 or visit redsox.com/season tickets today. 2 down, Pablo Sandoval at second base, and David Ortiz coming up. 263, 26 homers and 75 runs batted in. And second baseman Infante moving back to short right.
See how they operate here with the first base open and Ortiz at the plate. David 0 for 3 in his career against Ventura.
Fouls it off and evens the count of 1-1. David 0 for 4 in the ball game last night. In fact, does not have a hit in the series. 0 for 7 in the series with a walk. 2-1. Another ball in the dirt. Ventura got Betts to fly out to right. And Sandoval double off the wall and left. Got Bogarts to fly out to right. 2 down with a runner at second base. Travis Shaw waiting on deck. And Ortiz grounds it off himself to the end of the Red Sox dugout. And David hopping around pretty good. That one hurt.
Don't see David do this very often. Top a ball like this off his foot. Right off that right foot. And out comes Brad Pearson and Torey Lovullo.
Now tomorrow at 6, tune in to the Ultimate Red Sox Show presented by AAA. We'll have a look back at the hiring of Dave Dombrowski and recap the Jimmy Fund Radio Telethon. Tune in tomorrow night at 6 right here on NESN.
Another look at the last pitch to David Ortiz, right off the right foot, right instep, whatever it was, but certainly painful enough for Ortiz to be taking his time getting back in the box.
Full count now to David Ortiz with Sandoval at second base and time call. He will take ball 4 and head down to first base. First walk allowed by Ventura of the night. So he kind of pitched around him there. 2 on, 2 down.
Yeah, very careful with David Ortiz. We'll look at the pitch sequence. It's 2 fastballs to start him off. Fastball inside for a ball. Back down for a fastball. Then a couple of changeups. Back-to-back changeups to Ortiz. See if he'll chase a bad pitch. Then they go back-to-back fastballs. The one he fouls off his foot. And then the one that misses for ball 4. So being very careful with first base open with Ortiz.
So 2 on, 2 down, and here is Travis Shaw. Swing and a miss. Tried to chase that fastball and couldn't catch up to it for strike one. 375 so far for Shaw. 6 homers and 12 runs batted in. He has recorded a hit and scored a run in each of his last 6 games. .565 average in those 6 games. And how about at home? Last 2 weeks, .471. On the ground, foul, and Shaw still down 0-2. That one gets all the way down the right field line.
Pretty good curveball right there with 2 strikes. He kept it down out of the strike zone, but one that's very hard to lay off if you're a hitter. You don't want to take that chance of having it be called a strike.
In the air to shallow left as Zobrist makes his way in and over. And he'll put it away to end the inning. So the Red Sox strand a pair, 2-0 Kansas City. Projects across the Northeast. Did you know FW Web did that? Learn more about this proud Boston Red Sox sponsor at FWWeb.com. Second inning with the Royals on top 2-0, and the first pitch hits Salvador Perez.
Not much of an effort by Perez to get out of the way of that, but the ball's going to hit him right off the elbow. Of course, when you have that elbow guard on, it's still painful, but not quite as bad.
So Perez aboard at first base. Here's Alex Rios, batting out of the 8th spot in the order, playing in right field tonight for Kansas City. And it's strike one from Matt Barnes. Barnes got 2 quick outs in the first inning in Escobar and Zobrist before giving up 3 straight hits. Singles to Kane and Hosmer, and then the 2-run double by Kendrys Morales off the wall and left. Gives Kansas City a 2-0 advantage. Just 169 since July the 24th for Rios. Overall, 235 coming in. Used to much larger numbers for the former Toronto Blue Jay. There's a pop-up foul off to the right out of play.
Yeah, even though the numbers are not what they were years ago for Rios, he's still a nice fit in this Kansas City outfield. Solid right fielder. hitting him down at the bottom of the lineup.
This will get away briefly from Swihart. Perez thought about it, but dances his way back to the bag at first.
I think what happened is this ball comes back and hits Rios and kind of put a stop to it. It's a breaking ball that's going to be in the dirt. And I think it comes back to hit Rios. Bouncing away, and say it gets him right off the leg, and that probably helped keep Perez at first base. There it is, coming back and hitting his knee.
It was 1,600 games for Rios. 2-2 pitch. And he laces this foul down the left field line. A hot shot. Rios, who started his major league career with the Toronto Blue Jays, breaking into the big leagues in 2004, and then spent 5 seasons in Chicago with the White Sox, a year and a half in Texas with the Rangers. Now in his first year in Kansas City. Throw to first and back to the bag is Salvador Perez. Alex Rios from Puerto Rico. Off the glove of Barnes, he will go to first base. With a shore out there, and Perez takes second.
He was still thinking about second base because the ball came right back into his throwing hand. Takes a peek there, but gets the shore out at first base. If that ball gets by Barnes, they might have a chance at a double play with the ball heading toward the middle.
So 1 out, runner at second base, number 9 man Omar Infante. 215, a home run, 33 runs batted in for Infante. For 3 in the ball game last night. That's with Salvador Perez at second base. 1 down here in the visiting half of the second inning. There's a strike at 93. Vote for the Amica Pitcher of the Week at NESN.com/Amica and enter to win a $100 gift card from NESN to the Yawkey Way team store. The 2-1 pitch coming to Infante. And it's fouled back right here.
Wow.
Yeah, took it off the finger. Couldn't catch it on the fly, Jerry.
No, I'm not taking a chance on that one.
I got a finger on.
That's hit too hard.
Yeah, it was hot. It's been a while since we've had one back here.
A long time.
Yeah,
long time.
Years.
And that usually by the time they get up here, they slow up a little bit, but not that one.
No, that one was hot. This is to left, and Ramirez going back. He'll have a play, and he makes it at the edge of the track. I think it might be like 10 years since we've had a ball up here.
It's been a long, long time.
A really long time.
We don't generally get them here. Some other ballparks you have a better chance, but this ballpark you're very high. Nice effort though, Don. At least you gave it a shot.
Right off the tip of the index finger.
I didn't want any part of it.
No, I got a finger on it, and it hurts actually. and maybe a DL stint in my future. There's no feeling in the tip of the finger right now.
That'll come back.
It will?
It'll come back.
You have that freeze stuff you can put on there? Get the freeze spray on there. So 2 down, Salvador Perez at second base. I'm announcing injured from Fenway Park. Escobar lined out to Pablo Sandoval in the first inning, and a hot shot right at Pablo.
Now we go back to 2008 on a foul ball.
2008, huh?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So that would have been 8 years ago. How about that tie combination going on there? What is going on there?
Yeah.
And just Jimmy Remy. This is on the ground to short. Bogarts will go to first. Yeah, that'll end the inning. Nicely done by Barnes. Works around the hit batsman. 2-0 Kansas City. Right now at Fenway Park. 2008, and this ball was caught, and that was indeed Jerry, not Jerry Remy, Jerry's younger brother, Jimmy.
Jimmy
Remy was here with us.
What in the world ever made me do that to my hair and mustache? I have no idea.
Oh, it was the mustache too? I didn't realize that. It was both.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Kind of a midlife crisis thing going on in 2008, apparently.
I think there was, and for some reason, I thought at that time, that I didn't realize what a clown I looked like. I mean, I look ridiculous.
It was different. It was a different time in your life.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
2008.
Yes.
Really not that long ago.
On the ground, foul outside of third.
I'm so embarrassed that I ever did that. I really am. I mean, what a fool. Like, nobody would know,
I didn't even notice.
No. What about Garen? Garen, what do you think? Better with the dark hair or the undarkened hair?
I'm not liking the dark hair, Jerry. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not liking it.
No, it's not good. It's not good.
It's not good. It's not good.
Hanley Ramirez leading it off here in the bottom of the second inning. 1-1 the count. Good cut there, and he's down 1-2. Ventura.
A good curveball that time from Ventura to pick up the swing and miss by Hanley Ramirez. There's the breaking ball right here. A couple of them so far in the game. Have not seen a changeup yet. Oh, we actually did. So a couple of David Ortiz.
On the ground, perfectly positioned is Infante. And his throw in time to get Ramirez. So one down here in the second inning. Are you looking for ways to entertain employees or clients? Take them out for a night at Fenway Park to watch your beloved Red Sox. Visit redsox.com/groups for more information. One down here in the second inning. Great crowd on hand here tonight. Beautiful summer night at Fenway Park. As Blake Swihart bats with one away. .274 with a home run, 22 runs batted in. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Red Sox have had 9 4-hit games by players aged 23 or younger. That's the most in the major leagues. And of course, the Red Sox getting a good look at their youth here in the last 6 weeks of the year. Down to Hosmer. He'll take it himself to the bag, and he beats Swihart there for the second out of the inning.
Hosmer, as we mentioned, very, very good first baseman. A lot of range, very smooth, very solid down at first base. Ranging there to his right. Gets it in the big webbing of the glove and then takes it himself at first base.
Two down for Jackie Bradley Jr. We'll take a look at the fastball for strike one. 247, 5 homers, 21 runs batted in for Bradley. Down on the count, 0-2. 1 for 4 in the series with a triple and an RBI right now for Bradley Jr. Each of his last 9 hits have gone for extra bases, 3 home runs, a triple, and 5 doubles. Josh Rutledge waiting on deck with 2 down here in the bottom of the second inning. Red Sox trailing 2-0. Yordano Ventura on the mound tonight for Kansas City. And a swing and a miss, gets away briefly from Perez, clears the runner, and throws out Bradley to end the inning. First strikeout for Ventura. 2-0 Royals through 2. Alvarez of the Astros threw a no-hitter last night. He became the 5th pitcher in the last 50 years to throw a no-hitter within 3 starts of being with a new team. The last 2 to do so were 2 Red Sox, Clay Buchholz and Hideo Nomo, both with the Red Sox. Twisted Tea is the hard iced tea. It tastes like real iced tea. Be a little twisted. Those fires have been with Milwaukee Brewers prior to the Astros, and it's part of what has been a very good Houston season. The Astros with a 3.5 game lead atop the American League West right now over the Angels. Fly ball foul off to the left.
You saw Buchholz in the dugout, still not throwing. He received, I think, clearance to begin throwing, but the Red Sox are kind of holding him back right now. It's not quite ready to begin playing catch. I'd have to doubt, Don, right now that we would see him the remainder of the season.
I would agree. (7-7) the record on the year. 3.26 ERA. Ends up making 18 starts. Ground ball softly hit to Rutledge, who charges in and throws out Ben Zobrist. One out here in the 3rd inning. So 1 down brings up Lorenzo Cain, who singled in the 1st inning. Cain has 1 of 3 Kansas City hits in the game. Cain had been 0 for 7 in the series prior to the base hit his first time up. Still just 2 for his last 18. DraftKings.com is paying out over $300 million this baseball season. DraftKings has given out $34 million to Boston residents alone since the site launched. Get your free entry into a one-day fantasy baseball contest today using promo code NESSN. 2-1 the count to Lorenzo Cain. And a ground ball, lots of spin on it to the backhand of Shaw. Recovers, and over to cover at the bag was Barnes.
Well, you could almost see that coming the way that ball was hit to first base. It was really had a lot of spin on it, and it looked like trouble for Travis Shaw. He goes to the backhand and pops out, but fortunately not that far, just a step away, and still had time. Credit Barnes for doing his job and getting over, taking the throw, and then finding first base.
Two down here in the 3rd inning for Eric Hosmer. Hosmer with a single in the 1st inning, came around to score the 2nd Kansas City run of the night. Batting here with 2 outs.
And Barnes mixing in a few more changeups here in the 3rd inning, 2nd time through the order.
Hosmer has had 56 2-out hits. Ranks 3rd in the majors, 2nd in the American League in that category. And here he is with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Off balance cut there, and it's 2-2.
Another changeup from Barnes. Had a very good one down and away off the plate. See that ball spinning as it goes away from Hosmer.
Chopped to the backhand and under it of Sandoval and into left. And Hosmer aboard with 2 outs here in the 3rd inning.
Now that's probably going to go as a base hit, because I don't think if Sandoval feels this ball going to his right like that, he's going to be able to make the throw to first base. In between hop right there, right under the glove of Sandoval.
It is a base hit for Hosmer, so another 2-out base hit for Hosmer, and he is 2 for 2 in the ball game tonight. Into the shift go the Red Sox. Sandoval coming to the right side of the infield from 3rd base. And here is Kendrys Morales, who doubled to drive in 2 in the first inning. And that was with 2 outs in the inning. Short lead, easy for Hosmer to get back to the bag.
5 steals for Hosmer. Caught twice. 71%.
Kendrys Morales DHing now. Billy Butler kind of his replacement as Butler going on to the Oakland A's. And of course Morales has been here this season after breaking into the big leagues first for the Angels back in 2006. Stops in Seattle, Minnesota, Seattle again last year, and now here in Kansas City. Having a good year. 13 homers, 85 runs batted in now. 2 tonight. And a wild swing and a miss. Hosmer thought about it, but he remains at first base. Follow the Red Sox all season with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet today. On the ground, foul, as lunging in the air with Shaw to get a glove on it.
I saw that defense set up for the Red Sox. Certainly the pull with the shift on in the infield, but the outfield slightly shaded toward left field. See where Mookie Betts is playing to the left field side of second base, but if they hit a ground ball, they expect Morales to pull it.
In the dirt, gets away and over by the on deck circle. So Hosmer around second base, and he will remain at second.
Swihart for a while really didn't know where this ball had gone once it bounced off him. See him looking around for it. I thought it was behind him and then finally off to the side, as pointed out by the pitcher Barnes.
So a wild pitch gets Hosmer to second base with 2 down in the inning. Count of 2-2 to Kendrys Morales. 50th pitch of the night for Barnes through 2 2/3 innings. Fly ball, foul, off to the left, out of play. And Morales, who had a 2-out, 2-run double in the first inning, has been very good with 2 outs, leading the majors with 44 2-out RBIs. .331 average with 2 outs this season, so he's in the right spot right now. Swing and a miss, and he was fooled on that fastball. It was up by the bill of the helmet. 2-0 Kansas City. The Sox get a save. CVS Pharmacy will make a donation to Children's Hospital towards a $25,000 commitment once again this season. CVS Pharmacy, the official pharmacy of the Boston Red Sox. It's on to the bottom of the third inning. And Josh Rutledge leading it off and taking strike one from Yordano Ventura. Rutledge at 250 with a home run. 3 runs batted in. Bites it off foul. Down 0-2 as we check in with Garen.
Thanks, Don. I caught up with Josh Rutledge the other day, and he said his transition to Boston has been going really well. He said he gets along really well with the guys, and the team has been great. Rutledge said that he was not expecting to be traded, but he feels that he's meant to be here, and everything happens for a reason. He also said he wants to make the most of the opportunity, and Don Jerry made the most of it last night.
Well, last night a 2-run home run, first home run for him in a Red Sox uniform, and look at his numbers in the last 7 games since being traded for Shane Victorino from the Angels. To right field, and that's going to fall in for a base hit. Second Boston hit of the night belongs to Josh Rutledge.
Got a curveball that time for Ventura and places it out in the right field in front of Rios for the base hit. He's got a little bit more playing time, I think, recently because of the injury to Block Holt. And that's one of the reasons, when you get in there for a day after day after day, obviously you feel a little bit more comfortable, and it looks like Rutledge is feeling that right now.
Lead runner on here for Boston in the third inning. Mookie Betts getting his second look at Ventura. That's a fly ball out to shallow right center. Kane coming in and over, calling and catching out number 1 of the inning. Well, local Dunkin' Donuts franchisees are proud to give back to the communities in which they live and work. Tonight we welcome Boston Parkway Travel Baseball to historic Fenway Park. Dunkin' Donuts committed to the community. What a good time out there tonight on a very comfortable night tonight at Fenway Park. 69 degrees our temperature at game time. 1 out, 1 on, and Pablo Sandoval gets his second look at Ventura. Doubled off him in the first inning. 40th pitch for Ventura. Ventura, 24 years of age, signed a 5-year contract. This one fouled back. Club options for 2 seasons after that. Originally signed by the Royals as a non-drafted free agent in 2008. Out of the Dominican Republic. (0-2) in his career in 2 outings against Boston with a 7.15 earned run average coming in. So far tonight's been very good. Coming in tonight, the 9 earned runs and 11 1/3 innings for him in 2 outings. Suffered a 6-0 setback here in July of last year, allowing 6 earned runs in 4 1/3. Swing and a miss, and Sandoval strikes out. That's the second strikeout for Ventura.
Yeah, pretty impressive breaking ball again from Ventura. This time keeping it down, actually getting it out of the strike zone. And chased right there by Sandoval. Down and away.
Two down. Xander Bogaerts flied out to right field, and Alex Rios in the first inning. Two runs, 4 hits, no errors for Kansas City. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for Boston. On the ground to second base, Infante's got it. Throws out Bogaerts and ends the third inning. It's on to the fourth, 2-0 Kansas City. Bank helps make good things happen. Watch how good things are happening to local people at easternbank.com/goodthingshappen. Fourth inning, 2-0 Kansas City. And Mike Moustakas will take strike one from Matt Barnes. Barnes touched for 2 runs in the first inning. Moustakas getting his second look at Barnes tonight. He fouled out to the catcher Blake Swihart in the first inning. Red Sox in the infield shifting on the right side on Moustakas. It's Bogart's on the right side. That leaves Sandoval on the left. Fly ball left center field. Mookie Betts on the move. Will get there. One down here in the fourth inning. Now before tonight's game, a group of teenagers from the Jimmy Fund got to enjoy a tour of Fenway Park. They watched batting practice and got to meet some of their favorite Red Sox players. It was a special end to a great week for the Red Sox and the Jimmy Fund. Generally, they make trips down to spring training and on the road as well during the course of the year. But here at Fenway Park, players all out to sign autographs and get to meet a lot of those great kids.
A great week. Raised over $3 million. Earlier in the week, a visit tonight.
Center field, Betts back there again. 2 down. Got 2 putouts here in the fourth inning. Well, right now his ticket has super savings on all Red Sox tickets. Tickets start at just $9, and New York Yankees tickets start at just $33. Supplies are limited. Visit aceticket.com right now for super savings. 2 down here in the fourth inning. Brings up Alex Rios. Right fielder for the Royals, who grounded back to the mound, and Matt Barnes in the second inning. Center fielder Betts over towards right center. Somewhat of a gap out in left center field. Fastball that was up, and he fouls it off to the right. Rios now and Fonte waiting on deck. Royals batting here in the visiting half of the fourth inning. On the ground and into right field, a base hit. Well positioned there in between Rutledge and Shaw. And Rios has got himself a 2-out base hit.
Rios now with a 4-game hitting streak as he takes the fastball from Bonds. That's away, just goes with it, and a pretty wide open spot between first and second. They were giving him that big hole at second base, and he finds it.
So the Royals with a 2-out base runner. They have had a 2-out base runner in every inning so far. There's Omar Infante flied out to left field, and Hanley Ramirez in the second inning. Throw to first, a short lead for Rios, who is easily able to get back to the bag. On a strike to Omar Infante with 2 down here in the 4th inning. And a foul back at 93 miles an hour that time from Barnes. Infante, who has 1 home run, got the home run back on July 27th in Cleveland. He'd gone 480 regular season at bats in between home runs. Certainly not known for his power. Swinging a foul tip held onto by Blake Swihart. Second strikeout for Barnes. 2-0 KC through 3.5. Free checking account with Eastern Bank and get $100. Just text money to 36698. Message and data rates may apply. Welcome back to Fenway Park, where the Kansas City Royals hold a 2-0 advantage over the Red Sox, out hitting Boston 5-2. Yordano Ventura back on the mound again for Kansas City. And here is David Ortiz to lead it off in the bottom of the 4th. Ortiz, Shaw, and Ramirez. David with a walk in the 1st inning. The only free pass served up by Ventura on the night. Over the shift and into right field for a base hit. So David is aboard to begin things here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Did you see Ortiz running down the line?
Yeah, to pick it up.
I mean, he was flying down the line because I think he believed that Rios might try to throw him out at first base.
And he might have had a shot.
Husband was not expecting a throw, and David said, I better get down to first base here just in case. I don't see that very often either, him dropping one in between that second baseman and the right fielder.
Right up and over the shift. As Travis Shaw will take ball 1 at 97 miles an hour. Shaw fly to the left fielder, Ben Zobrist, in the 1st inning, 0 for 1. Called a strike. Here to be off the outside edge.
A lot of conversation over there at first base between Ortiz and Hosmer.
3 balls and a strike now to Shaw. There's a strike and a full count now. Shaw coming in with a 6-game hitting streak into tonight's action.
A lot of times the conversations will be about the pitcher. You know, this guy's got nasty stuff or something like that. You know, this was still going on though. This is a very long. And Hosmer's agreeing with everything David says.
There's a pop-up foul off third. Ventura's racing too, but it'll be Moustakas, who almost overran that ball. Makes the catch for the first out of the 4th inning. Well, right now you can get up to 60 months with no interest on anything at Jordan's Furniture. Furnish one room or your entire home. Best of all, you'll get to enjoy it now. Visit Jordans.com for details. One out, one on here in the 4th inning. Hanley Ramirez, who grounded out to second base in the 2nd inning, 0 for 1. (2-0). H.B. Hood salutes the Red Sox Foundation for its commitment to 4,900 accredited charities throughout New England. And the Ramirez batting with David Ortiz at first and 1 out in the Red Sox 4th inning. And a grounder towards third. Moustakas will go to second from 1 to first. Not in time. Ramirez able to beat it out. They do get Ortiz. Lead runner for the 2nd out of the inning.
You know, that foul ball that you caught, as we look at the force out at second base, you know, most fans are surprised when they catch a foul ball because they expect to get a baseball that is just bright white.
Right.
And that's
new.
not the case. You
No.
know, when they get these foul balls, they're surprised to see that they are really, you know, they're darker than they would expect.
Got the mud.
Because they are rubbed up prior to the game. And the reason they are rubbed up to take some of the glare off the baseball and also make it a better grip, obviously, for the pitches. So I think people are surprised when they get those foul balls that it's not a bright white baseball that you take out of a box.
You know, I was surprised by, though, is the grass stain that's on there. Usually that was in play.
Right. A lot of times, you know, the ball stays in play. You'll get some grass stains on there. And, you know, it's amazing when you're hitting that you can actually see if the ball is rubbed up but too much. You know, if it's too dark, you know, you'll ask the umpire, please change the baseball. And sometimes you'll get a dozen like that. But Dean, who does the rubbing of the baseballs here at Fenway, does a great job with that. And for those who have never got a foul ball, you know, they don't come out bright white. That's for sure.
I'm curious how many rubs up before the game. I mean, how many?
I'm not sure how many dozen there are before the game, but they use a lot of baseballs. I mean, between batting practice and between the games, you know, work in the batting cage.
Base hit going the other way. He is Swihart, and taking second is Hanley Ramirez. 2 on with 2 down.
You know, baseball finally figured out that it's a good thing to give away souvenirs as baseballs. I mean, we used to get fined if we gave away a baseball in the stands.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And because they wanted to use those baseballs for batting practice. But, you know, now they just, you know, players give them to the fans, and they really appreciate that. So I think that's a good gesture on baseball's part not to be fining guys for giving away baseballs.
How much was the fine? Do you remember?
I don't remember. It was crazy. I think it was a team thing, more than a league thing.
Jackie Bradley Jr. struck out swinging in the second inning. One of 2 strikeouts for Ventura. A wiggle on that, and it's in there for strike 2. Hanley Ramirez at second base. Blake Swihart at first. 2 down in the 4th inning. In the air, foul off to the left, out of play. Six out of his last 9 with runners in scoring position. Very high and very hard at 98 miles an hour. Do it again, 1-2. Join Billy Costa and Jenny Johnson at the Marshfield Cask and Flagon on Tuesday for their summer soiree. There'll be a margarita and taco bar, live entertainment, silent auction, and live raffle. All proceeds benefit the Magical Moon Foundation. Tickets can be purchased at the door on Tuesday at the Cask in Marshfield. Striking out is Jackie Bradley Jr., 3rd K for Ventura. Red Sox strand a pair and trail 2-0. Hashtag Nesson down a strong fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Tweet your photos now. Brought to you by T-Mobile. 2-0 Kansas City on top of Boston as the Royals come to bat here in the 5th inning. Top of the order, Alcides Escobar. Escobar lining out to third base in the 1st inning, grounded out to shortstop in the 2nd. 0 for 2. Popped up, shallow left center. Back going is Bogaerts to pull it in for the first out of the 5th inning. Well, don't miss WB Mason Extra Innings Live right after the game. TC and Steve Lyons will break down tonight's game. You'll hear from Matt Barnes. Whatever, whenever, wherever. Who but WB Mason? Barnes giving up 2 runs in the first. He's not allowed a run since. And only 2 hits since the first inning allowed by Barnes. As 1 out in the 5th, and here's Ben Zobrist for his 3rd at bat against Barnes. Zobrist has lined out to center and grounded out to second base. Line to left center field and in for a base hit. Betts over to play it, but it is a 1-out single for Ben Zobrist. Toyo Tires, the official tire of the Boston Red Sox. Whether you're taking your truck off road, the kids to practice, or your sports car to its limits, there's a Toyo Tire for you. Visit toyotires.com to find a dealer near you. 1-out base runner now for Kansas City, and it brings up Lorenzo Cain. Single to right and scored in the first inning. Grounded out to first base in the 3rd. Back to the bag is Zobrist.
Knowing the guys run on him, he's made a couple of throws over to first base to try to maybe decrease the lead little bit of the runner at first base.
And there for a strike on the fastball. Barnes in his 2nd major league start and the 1st major league start for him. Was roughed up in that game. This is actually overall his 23rd appearance in the major leagues, as this pitch is going to miss.
That's a good pitch right there. Change up it looked like, and I thought it had the bottom of the strike zone. See Swihart pulling it in just a little bit.
Barnes lasting 5 innings in that last outing against Cleveland on Monday. 75th pitch could be a double play ball. Bogaerts to second for 1, on to first for 2. Double play halfway through this one. It's 2-0 Kansas City. weekend. Get double the Pump Up the Fun game tickets for even more chances to win in the Irving Oil $5 million summer giveaway. Visit a participating Irving Oil for details. That's on to the bottom of the 5th inning back at Fenway Park. Very nice night here in Boston. 2-0 Kansas City with the lead as Josh Rutledge leads it off and takes strike one. Rutledge with a single to right field in the 2nd inning. One of 4 Boston hits.
Now last night, Rutledge hitting a home run off Cueto. Looked like a cut fastball that time from Cueto, and he took it up to the monster seats, the 2nd row.
Now he sprays one foul off to the right out of play. Cueto roughed up by the Red Sox last night to the tune of 13 hits, new career high allowed by Cueto. Fouled off again down the right field line out of play.
Seems like the bigger the names recently, the better success the Red Sox offense have had.
We reeled off a number of names last night, and one that I left off the list, I don't know how, was Felix Hernandez. Red Sox getting him twice this year. Once in Seattle and once here at Fenway Park.
Yeah, the one at Fenway was very rare to see that kind of appearance by Hernandez.
Mookie Betts waiting on deck. Yordano Ventura with 3 strikeouts for the first 4 innings. Red Sox have had some chances. They have left 5 men on base through the first 4 innings. Strike 3 right on that outside corner. There's strikeout number 4 for Ventura.
That's a tough pitch. Tough pitch to swing at. Outside part of the plate, just picking up the outside corner, just barely. And I don't know if you swing at that, what's going to happen anyway. You're probably going to foul it off if you're fortunate.
One down here in the 5th inning brings up Mookie Betts. 0 for 2 tonight is Betts. He is flied out to right, flied out to center.
Yeah, I was talking earlier, Don, about rubbing the baseballs up, and I mentioned Dean. I should have said it's Dean Lewis. I don't want the Lewis family to be upset with me. He's become a big star, you know. He had a story in the paper on him a couple of weeks ago.
That's striking out. Perez got to throw him out. Now, Dean was here when you were here. He's been here a long time.
He was here when I was here, working in the clubhouse, still working in the clubhouse, and he looks the exact same now as he did when I first got here. He hasn't aged a day. He's about 85 years old. I mean, he rubs up 17 dozen, we found out, thanks to Tommy McLaughlin, that 17 dozen baseballs for a game. Now, obviously, if you go into extra innings, obviously there are more that are being used.
Well, I'm amazed how quickly a baseball is taken out of a game. I mean, it hits
much
the dirt. And
much faster than in the past. As soon as it hits the dirt, it's gone.
That's it. It's gone. It's gone.
Out.
Never to be used again. And I guess the thinking really is that any kind of scuff or anything on the ball would give the pitcher an advantage. I mean, is that what we're talking about?
Well, yeah, and I've seen pitchers actually get balls back from, that have been hit on the ground and thrown in the dirt and actually throw them out themselves, and I don't get it. If I was a pitcher, I'd want that baseball to throw. Dean's the mud man. They call him the mud man.
Mud man.
Yeah.
This one fouled back. Is he the only member of the clubhouse that was here when you were here?
Yes, when I was here, yes. They got a great group down there right now. They really work hard, and They do a terrific job catering to all the needs of the players.
A lot of long hours.
Long day. You're exactly right. Here a long time after the game is over. Short nights between the night games and day games. Some of the things that the players ask for nowadays too, it's like incredible. I mean, they're running to stores, they're running out to get food, they're doing everything, so it's but they're also treated very well, hopefully, by the players at the end of the season.
Hope so. Players are listening.
I think most of them do.
Now you think about all the late night arrivals too, coming off the road.
Yep.
This is chopped down the first baseline. I got to wait for the team to arrive. Everything coming in dirty from that last trip and getting ready for the arrival for the homestand.
Dean had my autograph down pretty good. He could do my autograph very, very well.
So is that to say that you didn't sign your own stuff? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I did sign my own stuff, but he
could do it if he needed to. Is what you're saying?
If something would have happened to my right hand, he could do it. Yeah. Jay Ray.
It's all about the J and the R, I think, after watching it over the years. The other stuff's kind of a little squibbly. You can get away with the other stuff, I think. It's the key is the J
and the R. Yeah.
High for ball 3. Still throwing hard as Ventura. Last pitch at 95.
Tries to climb the ladder here against Pablo, and even too high for Pablo Sandoval.
Pretty good hack there by Sandoval. A little stumble at the end of it. There's 3 strikeouts in a row right now for Yordano Ventura. Struck out Jackie Bradley Jr. to close the 4th. He opens the 5th by striking out Rutledge and Betts. Now he will get a foul tip, or Sandoval is out. Strike 3, and that is Ventura's 4th straight strikeout. Strikes out the side as a 2-0 lead. Don't go anywhere. Let's stay right here in the park.
When I call for an auto insurance quote, I want to talk to a live, intelligent, caring human being
who will give me their total attention.
If that's what you're looking for, you should call Amica right now.
Discounts would also be nice.
Never left. You were here during the inning as well, seeing everything going on here at the ballpark. So we head into the 6th inning, 2-0. Kansas City on top. Barnes back on the hill. Eric Hosmer, Kendrys Morales, and Mike Moustakas to bat here in the 6th inning for Kansas City. Well, Matt Barnes' pitching line brought to you by Ace Ticket. 5+, 6 hits, 2 runs. Hasn't walked anybody and has struck out 2. The first start that he made, he became the 5th rookie pitcher to start for the Red Sox this season. And he gets the high strike call that time. Only the Reds, who have had 8 rookie pitchers appear this year, as a team have made more. On the ground left side, Sandoval to his left for the first out of the 6th inning. It's time for a game break, brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Tom? All right, Tom, thanks very much. Back here at Fenway Park, Red Sox trailing the Royals 2-0. And Kendrys Morales takes strike 1. Morales with a double to drive in 2. The difference in the game in the first inning with 2 outs. RBIs 84 and 85 on the year for the Royals DH.
That's interesting. Now we're talking about the behind the scenes, obviously, and I think the job that has changed the most over the years in baseball behind the scenes is the traveling secretary. I mean, it is incredible what goes on now. I mean, as far as taking care of tickets, hotels, buses, the airplanes, and hotels for the players who get called up here in Washington. That's just to name a few things.
The coordination is unbelievable. One of the toughest jobs I think there is.
Yeah, I agree, and we're very fortunate to have Jack McCormick do that for us. And it's incredible the amount of stuff that daily you have to deal with. Nothing's worse for them when something goes wrong on the road. You get a mechanical thing with the plane, or stuff happens. And stuff happens, but it's not only that stuff, the travel stuff. It's just all stuff you got to do at home too. Setting up this for a player, getting that for a player, doing this and
accommodations.
Yeah, exactly.
For guys coming in, you got tickets you're dealing with.
Yeah, where do you want the tickets? Do you want them behind home plate? Do you want them over here? Do you want them separated? Do you want them together? It's. I think of all thinking behind the scenes from when I was playing, I think that's the biggest change of all the positions.
And Jack Rogers was here for a number of years.
Yes.
And you were here as well.
Outstanding.
This ball 4, a 1-out walk for Kendrys Morales, and that is the first walk given up by Barnes. Get immediate care without leaving the ballpark at the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center First Aid Station behind Section 12 in the lower concourse. BIDMC is the official hospital of the Boston Red Sox. 1 out, 1 on, and Moustakas coming up here now for Kansas City. He is fouled out to the catcher and flied out to center. Foul again, and it's 0-2. 2 strikeouts tonight for Barnes. Got Moustakas in the 3rd inning, and then he struck out Infante in the 4th. The Sox changed their shift here with Sandoval now coming to the right side of the infield. '90th pitch for Barnes. look out in the Royals dugout. A hot shot right into the dugout. Dave Eiland, the pitching coach, appears to be the closest to the action. Rolls it over foul. We'll do it again, 1-2. Good battle here from Moustakas. Action in the Red Sox pen. Heath Hembree first up for Boston. Line to left and in for a base hit right in front of Ramirez. Up to second base goes Morales. Moustakas with a base hit to left, and the Royals have runners at first and second with one out.
And Moustakas playing him over to pull, but this time goes to the opposite field for the base hit. Ball hit very hard, and that's going to bring Kyle Willis out of the dugout. So after a quick out, a base on balls and a base hit, couple of runners on for the Kansas City Royals.
Well, stay tuned for Red Sox Final presented by Uno's. TC and Steve Lyons will have the latest on the American League East and the wild card races. Eric Hosmer grounded out to third base to begin the inning. Morales walks. Moustakas with a base hit to left, 2 on, 1 away. And Salvador Perez coming up.
And talking about rubbing up the baseballs, there's Dino and Hunter Broadbent helping him out as they get the preparation for the game balls. Hunter Broadbent, son of Billy Broadbent, is going to be going to Zavarian coming up this fall. I'd like to do that job. Got to get him right, Don.
I'm Don.
Yeah, I know. You got to get him right. You got to get him right, or they're going to get thrown out of the game.
Looks like the right combination of water and mud.
Yeah.
Salvador Perez been hit by a pitch, flied out to center. Morales at second, Moustakas at first. One out in the 6th inning. In the air to right field, struck well. Jackie Bradley Jr. going back at the wall. It's gone into the bullpen. 3-run home run for Salvador Perez, his 18th of the year, and Kansas City takes a 5-0 lead.
Well, opposite field power shown there by Perez. Gets the fastball away, just goes with the pitch and takes it into the Red Sox bullpen. That's good hitting right there, because that's not that bad of a pitch. I mean, it's elevated a little bit, belt high, but it's still away. And Perez hit this ball a long way to the opposite field.
So that is a night for Barnes. The pitching change from Fenway with KC now on top 5-0. With one out here in the top of the 6th inning. Alex Rios standing in with the bases now empty after the 3-run home run by Salvador Perez into the bullpen. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Kia and Heath Hembree first in here for Boston. Through a perfect 9th inning to finish last night's win against Kansas City. 7 appearances now for Boston. No record, a 6.52 ERA. There's an 0-1 to Rios. Fourth stint of the year for Hembree with the Red Sox. He allowed 6 earned runs in his season debut back on April 26th at Baltimore. Now a liner to center field for a base hit. Mookie Betts will get it back in, but second hit of the night for Alex Rios.
Good hitting again by Rios. The last time going to right field on the ground. This time the line drive up over second base into center field. So he's 2 for 3 on the night. That's nice hitting. Gets the inside fastball, but is able to take it right back up the middle for the base hit. Did not roll over for a ground ball to the left side.
One out, one on. Omar Infante batting out of the 9 spot. Fly to left, struck out swinging. Line to left and sharply off the wall. Ramirez plays the carom as Rios heads to third. Throw goes to second and gets away. It'll be backed up by Shaw. Infante rattles the wall, and it's first and third with 1 out.
Infante had been 0 for his last 31, but finds the left field scoreboard. And Ramirez doing the right thing here by getting the ball in the second base, trying to keep that double play in order. The ball does get by, but it's backed up by the first baseman Travis Shaw, and no advance by the runners.
And the 7th member of the Kansas City Royals to bat here in this inning is Escobar. Has lined out to third, grounded out to short, and last time up popped out to the shortstop Xander Bogaerts. Popped up foul off to the right, out of play.
See, these guys are really aggressive, aren't they?
Yep.
A lot of first pitch swinging.
Not waiting around. Craig Breslow warming in the Red Sox pen. It's a line on Barnes tonight. 5 1/3, 8 hits, 5 runs. He walked 1 and struck out 2 on the hook. Came into tonight's outing with a record of 3 3. Foul tipped off the bare hand, it looked like, of Swihart.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that got any glove at all. It looked like it got him right off, squarely off the hand. Let's see. It did get a piece of the glove. Oh, and then the shoulder. I thought it was the hand.
He was shaking that hand like he got the hand, but it didn't.
Glove to the right shoulder. See, they have that padding on the right side, and it's flexible so they can make those throws when they have to.
Down the right field line, Bradley over by the seats, but he won't have a play. Four straight hits by the Kansas City Royals. The big one, the blast by Salvador Perez, his 18th home run of the year, 3-run shot. Which now has Kansas City on top 5-0. Infante back to the bag at first. Popped up. Foul ground. Travis Shaw makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Well, tonight after Red Sox coverage on NESN Sports Today, we'll have highlights from the Patriots preseason game against the Saints. That's tonight on NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. See what know-how can do.
Now, those two teams have practiced together all week and playing a game.
Here is Ben Zobrist. He was lined out to center, grounded out to second, and singled to center field. Eighth batter of the inning here for Kansas City. Rios at third and Fonte at first. Two down here in the sixth inning. Embry began the year with Pawtucket. 29 games for the Paw Sox this year. 0-5. He did have 8 saves. Throw to first base and back to the bag in Fonte.
Fonte with a couple of steals. He's been caught twice.
Remember, he's spending time on the DL this year. Right shoulder inflammation from June 15th to July 24th. Falls behind 2-1. Embry, 26 years of age. And missing again here. 3-1. It's part of the Jake Peavy deal. Last year coming over to the Red Sox. Along with Edwin Escobar, a left-handed pitcher. Fly ball to right field. Jackie Bradley Jr. out there. He'll make the catch. It ends the inning, but Kansas City scoring 3 times on the 3-run shot by Perez. Data Strong fan photo of the game. Use hashtag NESN Data Strong Fan and just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Tweet your photos now. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, the Red Sox trailing 5-0 as they come to bat here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Xander Bogaerts, David Ortiz, Travis Shaw. Long wait for Yordano Ventura as his team collects 3 runs in the top half of this inning. Bogaerts 0 for 2 tonight. He has flied out to right and grounded out to second. Rolls it over foul and is down 1-2.
On that last fastball from Ventura.
His 90th pitch. And it is blooped back at first and into right field. A base hit for Bogaerts. Got himself a single to begin things here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
That sounded like a broken bat single, but Bogaerts will certainly take it. Leadoff man on here in the 6th inning. Fastball inside, gets him around the label of the bat. Just over the head of Hosmer at first base. The pitcher was coming in behind Bogaerts, so he had to scuffle back to first base to make sure there was no throw behind him.
Lead runner on for the Red Sox. 3rd time in 6 innings that's happened. Here's Ortiz, who has walked and singled as the Royals go into the shift on the right side. Strike 1. Ventura's pitching line brought to you by your Eastern Lexus dealers. 5+, 5 hits, no runs, walk, and 6 strikeouts. There's been no action to this point in the pen for Kansas City. Nobody warming now. Shifting with Bogaerts at first base. To right center and a base hit for Ortiz. Bogaerts headed for 3rd base. He'll get there without a problem. 1st and 3rd with nobody out.
3 pitches to David Ortiz. They start him off with 2 different types of fastballs. First, the straight fastball to Ortiz, and then the cut fastball to David. Then they change gears. They go to the breaking ball. Curveball inside, and Ortiz is center field for the base hit.
Well, there is action now for Kansas City for the first time. Just up is Ryan Madsen. Travis Shaw coming up. Shaw has flied out to left, fouled out to 3rd base. 6-game hitting streak coming into tonight's game. Strike 1 at 98. Four pitches tonight beyond his average. All right, 114 on the year. Jumps ahead 0-2, back-to-back fastballs. Foul back. And some dancing down the line is Bogaerts with Mike Moustakas well off the bag at third base. Bogaerts can get a huge lead.
Yeah, you can get a very big lead down at third base because, as you mentioned, Moustakas well off that third base line. Certainly helps if the ball gets by the catcher with those extra few steps. You get a chance to score.
Breaking ball that slips out of his hand.
Xander Bogaerts taking his lead in foul territory. Obviously, you do not want to be on the line. If you get hit with a baseball on the line, you're out.
And the Ramirez waiting on deck. Nobody out here in the 6th inning. Shaw takes that ball in the dirt. Backhanded by Perez.
That's a Gold Glove pick right there behind the plate. Was Perez a Gold Glove catcher? They get those special gloves. Gold Glove guys, man, they get all the gloves they want.
Pitch number 100 of the night coming up here for Ventura. Shaw chops it right side to second for one, and they will not return to first, but in from third comes Bogaerts. Red Sox are on the board. It's now 5-1 Kansas City.
No chance for a double play the way the ball was hit, and they're playing very deep. You see Avante has to go to his left to make this play. He tries to rush it, but Escobar doing the right thing at shortstop by not throwing it. They had no chance to get Shore, and the Red Sox do get a run home.
Dave Island on the phone checking on Ryan Madsen, who was warming in the pen. One out, Shaw at first base. There's Hanley Ramirez. Hanley is grounded out to second, reached on a fielder's choice. Line to center. Kane makes the catch for the second out of the inning.
And that's aggravating. I mean, you put a swing like that on a baseball and make solid contact like Ramirez did, but you look up and standing right there is Kane, the center fielder. This ball's scorched by Hanley Ramirez. But the good defensive positioning by the Royals, and Kane is there to make the play.
Two down, Shaw at first base. There is strike one. Swihart getting his third at bat of the night. He's grounded out to first base and singled to left field. Two and one. Ventura with 6 strikeouts in the game, struck out the side in the 5th inning. In fact, at one point it struck out 4 batters in a row. He's given up his first run of his outing here in the 6th inning, up over 100 pitches now. With action in the Kansas City pen. Swihart fouls it off, evens the count at 2-2. Tomorrow on an all-new outer space themed episode of NESN Clubhouse, find out which Red Sox players believe in aliens. We'll break down a baseball swing under a strobe light and look at the moon through one of the cameras at Fenway Park. Don't miss NESN Clubhouse tomorrow at noon, presented by Delta Dental of Massachusetts. 2-2 pitch. Foul back again.
Do you believe in aliens?
I don't know about that.
I don't.
You ever seen a flying saucer of any kind?
No, not in while I was in my right mind.
2-2 on the ground to Infante. He will go to second backhanded for the out that ends the inning. Red Sox get a run. We played 6. It is 5-1 Kansas City. Hood Red Sox Caramel Sunday Cone. It's a whole new ball game. Top of the 7th inning, 5-1 Kansas City on top of Boston. Red Sox getting a run back in the bottom of the 6th inning, and here's Lorenzo Cain, who takes strike 1. Cain with a single in the 1st inning. Since then, a ground out to first last time up, bounced into a 6-4-3 double play. Nice catch, 2 hands. Foul off to the right again. Cain has hit at just 175 in his career here at Fenway Park. Not been one of his better venues. In the air to right field, Jackie Bradley Jr. towards the track, will leap, and Bradley makes the catch. Right at the wall, he makes that grab and may have saved the Red Sox a run down there.
Yeah, I couldn't tell whether Jackie was in back of the foul pole or in front of it.
In front.
Just in front. What an effort by Bradley. I mean, well, we've talked about it so much. It doesn't matter where you put him. Right field, center field, left field. This guy is unbelievable in the outfield.
So 1 out here in the 7th inning and a pitching change as Heath Hembree ends up going an inning of work. Red Sox back to the pen, 5-1 Kansas City. Back at Fenway, Kansas City with a 5-1 lead over the Red Sox with one out in the 7th inning. Eric Hosmer, the batter. 2-hit night tonight for Hosmer. As he'll take a pitch inside. Now Craig Breslow, the new Boston pitcher. Third arm of the night used by Torey Lovullo, and Breslow into his 38th game. 0-3, 4.44 earned run average. 34 strikeouts, 19 walks. Opponent's hitting at .287 against Breslow. As Hosmer looks at ball 2. Hosmer singled in the first, singled in the third, and grounded out in the 6th inning. Breslow takes over for Hembree, who ended up going an inning, giving up 2 hits, no runs, no walks, nor did he strike anybody out. On the ground, foul, and it's 2-2 now. So Barnes started, won 5 1/3. The 5 runs the Royals have, all belonging to the starter Barnes. Fly ball, center field. Mookie Betts over to left center. And he makes the catch. Wynn pushed it a little bit further. 2 down. Well, that's what I'd like to thank you for pledging your support during the 14th annual WEEI Ness and Jimmy Fund Radio Telethon. Your contributions help raise over $3 million from all of us at Ness and WEEI, the Red Sox, and the Jimmy Fund. Thank you. Two down here in the 7th inning, and it brings up Kendrys Morales, who has doubled, struck out, walked. His double in the first knocked in the first 2 runs of the game. Last time we saw Craig Breslow was on Sunday. Took the loss in a 10-8 defeat in 12 innings against the Mariners. Started the 10th with the score tied 8-8. And had a scoreless 10th and 11th with only 1 hit and a walk. But the 12th did not retire a batter. First 4 batters reached, 3 hits and an error. And he was charged with 2 earned runs and the loss in that game. To second base, and Rutledge. That'll end the top of the 7th inning. 7th inning stretch from Fenway. It's 5-1 Kansas City. Red Sox tomorrow. Starting pitchers Edinson Volquez against Eduardo Rodriguez. As Volquez on the year 11-7, Rodriguez 7-5. As Volquez coming off a no decision, Rodriguez coming off a win. Closer look is brought to you by FWWeb. Selection, expertise, solutions. More at FWWeb.com.
A good pitching matchup in the final game of the homestand tomorrow here at Fenway.
Ryan Madsen, the new Kansas City pitcher, 55th appearance. Takes over for Yordano Ventura. Ventura went the first 6 innings, giving up 6 hits, only 1 run. Walked a batter, struck out 6. Pitcher of record right now for Kansas City. Then we're getting a piece of Salvador Perez in his bare hand, I think.
Hell, a scoring summary pretty simple in this one. Morales with a double to the opposite field off the wall to score 2 runs. That came back in the first inning. And in the 6th inning, it's going to be Perez with an opposite field home run. His 18th of the season, a 3-run shot. And a little celebration after that home run as they open the gap a little bit here at Fenway.
Plate umpire Hunter Wintelstead giving Salvador Perez a little extra time. Appears he is okay. On the ground, foul. Do it again, 1-2. Bradley striking out swinging in the 2nd. He struck out swinging in the 4th. Of course, that was all against the Kansas City starter tonight, Yordano Ventura. On the ground, foul again. On deck is Josh Rutledge. Then we'll see Mookie Betts as part of this bottom of the 7th inning. And foul off Perez twice in this inning.
And a rough inning for Perez behind the plate, and there's still nobody out. Right off the chin.
Well, the trainer's going to come out and check on him this time. Well, tomorrow at 12:30, don't miss Red Sox first pitch presented by Joseph Abboud, available at Men's Warehouse. Adam Pellerin and Steve Lyons will recap the busy week that was for the Red Sox. So right on the chin area.
Probably a few questions. You know, what day is it? What inning is it? Who we playing?
Looks like he passed the test. Jackie Bradley Jr. batting here with the count of 1-2. First a foul tip that got Perez in the hand. Now one that got him on the chin. 1-2 pitch coming up. Popped up, foul ground, should reach the seats as Moustakas gives chase, but it is back into the crowd. Madsen last worked on Wednesday night against the Reds in the finale of that series. Had a 1-2-3 7th inning. 44 scoreless appearances on the year for Madsen as the pitch will miss high. He's had 13 scoreless appearances since the All-Star break. First pitcher out of the pen tonight for Kansas City after 6 from Ventura. And he strikes out Bradley. Third time tonight that Jackie Bradley struck out.
Yeah, a couple of times on a breaking ball. This time it's a fastball at 94 miles an hour thrown by Jackie Bradley. For the third time, the hat trick tonight for Jackie Bradley.
Mika Insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance. 1 out in the 7th inning for Josh Rutledge. Rutledge singled in the 3rd, struck out looking in the 5th. On the ground, left side, Moustakas on the half hop, throws on the run and in time, 2 away. Tomorrow at 1, don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live presented by DCU. Adam Pellerin and Steve Lyons will preview Eduardo Rodriguez's start against the Royals. DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? 2 down in the 7th inning, and it brings up Mookie Betts. 0 for 3 in the ball game. He has fly to right, fly to center, and struck out swinging. In there for strike 1 to Betts. Five runs, 10 hits, no errors for Kansas City. A run, 6 hits, no errors for Boston. Madsen, who of course pitched so many years for the Philadelphia Phillies, broke into the big leagues for the Phillies in 2003, was a Philly until 2011, then a year in Cincinnati. Now here with Kansas City. 2-1 in the air to deep left field. High, deep, and that ball is gone. Back of the monster seats for Mookie Betts, his 11th home run of the year. Red Sox get a little closer. It's now 5-2.
Mookie Betts loves that inside fastball, and that's exactly what he got there from Madsen. Watch the location of this pitch. Right on the inside corner. Betts with the very quick hands. Gets the barrel of the bat on the ball and takes it out of the ballpark. It's tough to get a fastball by Betts on that inside part of the plate.
For every home run the Red Sox hit the rest of the season, Alltown will donate $500 to the Boston Children's Hospital. Alltown is New England's premier healthier convenience retailer. 1-0 pitch. Sandoval jumping back out of the way of almost a strike. 2-0. Sandoval hits one high in the air, but playable out there for Rios. He'll make the catch. It ends the inning. Mookie Betts with a home run. It is 5-2 Kansas City. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now on southwest.com. Your local Subaru dealers. And by Sullivan Tire and Auto Service. Thank you, New England, for 60 great years. Now, tonight's game summary brought to you by Xfinity. Giordano Ventura, the starter tonight for Kansas City. The pitcher of record right now, 6 innings, giving up 1 earned run. Salvador Perez with a big 3-run home run. Kendrys Morales with a 2-run double. While Barnes on the hook for Boston gives up the 5 runs Kansas City has in 5 1/3. Mike Moustakas leads it off here for the Royals in the top of the 8th inning. Moustakas with a single to left his last time up, 1 for 3 in the ball game. Former Tampa Bay Ray Wade Davis, right-hander, up in the pen. Strike call right at the bottom of the zone. Close pitch, got the bottom strike call, but not the top.
Yeah, almost a makeup call, huh? You think?
Might have been.
Change up that was certainly in the strike zone, high, but in the strike zone, and not called a strike.
Full count now to the leadoff hitter here for Kansas City in the 8th. Perez on deck, then Rios. Fights it off foul. We'll see an 8th pitch in this at bat. Red Sox shifting on the right side on Mike Moustakas with Rutledge in short right field, and it's Sandoval on the right side of the infield. And that's inside for ball 4. Leadoff walk for Mike Moustakas to begin the 8th. Bob's Discount Furniture goes to bat for the Jimmy Fund again this year. Bob will donate $1,000 to the Jimmy Fund for every game saved this season. Everybody saves at Bob's. Bob's Discount Furniture, quality, choice, and value. Learn more at mybobs.com.
Screaming there. Somebody cueing them to scream like that?
It seemed like there was. It was like a delay, and then they would cue them, and they'd scream again. And
scream again.
Yeah.
Scream one more time.
And a big selfie going on out there right now. Off balance swing for Salvador Perez. Photojournalist John Martin out there. Apparently their grandmother is turning 100.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. A Honda.
Is that the lady that threw out the first pitch tonight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yes. Got a rousing ovation from the crowd. I don't think she threw the first pitch out. I think she placed the baseball
on the mound.
On the mound, yes.
Fouled off. 2-2.
It's Ma.
Ma. Oh yeah, you're right.
Then she came off and she shook the hands of the umpires also as she was heading off the field.
Perez on the ground at third base. Sandoval with a bobble, and everybody's going to be safe. First look, thought he might have had a double play ball, but cannot handle it cleanly.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was thinking about, but could not handle the baseball. As you'll see, Sandoval will pick up his 14th error of the season on this play. Never could get a grip on it after it dropped out of the glove the first time. Went from glove to glove to glove to back to his hand. Dropped it again, and by that time, no play anyplace.
So a walk and an error. Have runners at first and second with nobody out here in the 8th. And it brings up Alex Rios, who has grounded back to the mound. Single to right and single to center. 2 for 3 in the ball game. Swihart headed out to talk to Breslow. Royals trying to add on to what is a 3-run advantage right now as Kansas City bats in the top of the 8th inning. Base hit into center field. Moustakas being waved around. He will score. And Kansas City now takes a 6-2 lead.
Now Rios has had a real big night. 3 hits in the game, 3 for 4. Picks up an RBI, is 22nd of the season. Right back up the middle. And Moustakas, who is at second base, has no problem scoring.
Fourth 3-hit game of the year for Rios, who has singled 3 times in this game and now has driven in a run. His 22nd of the year. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Nomar Infante coming up. Infante flied out to left in the second, struck out swinging in the fourth, singled to left in the 6th inning. Barnes went 5 1/3, giving up 5 runs. Embry went an inning. Breslow got the final 2 outs of the 7th. Runs into some trouble here in the 8th, and miscue at third base from Pablo Sandoval as part of this inning. Infante down 1-2.
The change up that time from Breslow. Infante not expecting that pitch and well out in front of the change up.
Popped up. Back goes Rutledge, a second baseman to the outfield grass to make the catch for the first out of the inning. So no advance for the base runners. 1 down as Infante is retired. It's back up to the top of the order for Alcides Escobar. The only member of the Royals starting 9 not to have a hit in tonight's game. He is lined out to third, grounded out to short, popped out to short, and last time up, fouled out to the first baseman, Travis Shaw. Two 2-0. Wade Davis has been joined by Luke Hoshaver. '30th pitch coming up here for Craig Breslow since coming into the game. Escobar lunging at that pitch. 2-1.
He too expecting a fastball on that count. The 2-0 count. Got a change up from Breslow and swinging at a pitch that was out of the strike zone. Escobar has only walked 22 times on the season.
Fouls it off down the right field line, and it evens at 2-2.
Back to the fastball and the late swing by Escobar.
Still 2-2 as he fouls another one back. Escobar batting now. Ben Zobrist waiting on deck here for the Royals in the 8th inning. A little bit low for ball 3. Line foul down the right field line, out of play. 8th pitch coming up here to Alcides Escobar. Started with a walk by Moustakas. The error at third base committed by Pablo Sandoval. RBI single for Alex Rios brought in the 6th run of the night for Kansas City. Infante pops out, so runners at first and second, one away, and 3-2 pitch coming to Escobar. Perez at second, Rios at first. And Swihart going out to talk to Breslow as they cannot get on the same page.
A couple of times Swihart has put down some signs. Breslow doesn't like what he sees, and finally Swihart asks to find out what do you want to throw.
Swing and a miss, and Escobar strikes out. First K for Breslow, 2 down.
A cut fastball decided on. I can understand because Breslow doesn't throw a lot of cut fastballs, and that's what he wanted to throw. Swihart was not calling for that pitch, and Breslow probably told him, look, I want to throw the cut fastball, so that's what they go with.
That worked out. Strikes out Escobar, and here's Ben Zobrist. Zobrist has lined out to center, grounded out to second base, singled to center, and last time up, flied out to right. On a strike now to Zobrist. Action for the Red Sox. Left-hander Tommy Lane warming. Heath Hembree was first out of the Red Sox pen after Barnes went 5 1/3, giving up 5 runs. Breslow now third pitcher of the night for Boston, and he picks up that outside corner. Generous call.
Now Zobrist didn't like it. He thought the ball was outside. Amika's going to show that it's outside. You can tell when that head snaps back to the umpire, they don't like the call.
Zobrist hits it in the air out ahead of it, up into the top deck and down again.
That's where all the Kansas City fans are sitting up in that area, right?
Yep.
A lot of them. A lot of one-handed attempts there, and they pay the price for that, losing it to folks below them.
Pitch 40 for Breslow, and it's tapped down the third baseline. Breslow will turn and fire. Nice play in time to get Zobrist and to end the inning. Kansas City adds a run, takes a 6-2 lead to the bottom of the 8th. Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. 6-2 Kansas City on top of Boston as the Red Sox come to bat here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And a new pitcher on now for Kansas City, Wade Davis, into his 52nd game of the year, 7-1 with a 1.09 earned run average. 56 Ks in 49 2/3, and opponents only hitting at 160 against the tall right-hander.
That's a lot of W's coming out of the bullpen. 7 wins.
Xander Bogaerts takes a hack at a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
There's some big-time arms in the bullpen for the Kansas City Royals.
Wade Davis, a former starter, of course. Bogaerts 1 for 3 tonight, single to right field in the 6th inning. Fouls it off down the right field line, and Bogaerts down 0-2.
That last fastball, 98 miles an hour from Davis. Keeping it away from Bogaerts, and Bogaerts fouling it off down that first base side.
He's had 16 wins out of the pen since the beginning of 2014. That's the most in the majors. The 1.09 ERA during that time.
That's a lot of getting in the game, and then the team comes back, score a few runs for you to get the win.
Davis has closed some games for them this year as well. He has 10 saves for Ned Yost. 1-2 pitch. Too far away. 2-2. Takes over for Ryan Madsen, who worked the 7th inning. Gave up a hit and a run. The home run by Mookie Betts. Didn't walk anybody, struck out a batter. Back to the gas. And a pop-up back at second base. Infante, the second baseman out there, will make the catch for the first out of the bottom of the 8th. Here comes David Ortiz. David has been on base 3 times in the game tonight. Walk in the first, single to right in the 4th, single to center in the 6th inning. David has not had a great deal of success against Davis. He's 2 for 13 against him, but he does have a home run.
See one hand on the hit by Ortiz. I mean, both pitches in the same spot. One called the ball, one called the strike.
Fouled straight back, 94 and right down the middle.
And cut fastball that time at 94, and you're right, that was right down the heart of the plate. Ortiz fouling it straight back. Look where his front foot is. Think he's trying to hit a home run? Look at me, something middle in.
Big hack there, and again Perez gets a piece of it.
Look at that front foot as it is heading down that first base line. That tells me that he's looking for something hard middle in.
2-2 pitch. Up and away at 99, overthrew that. Full count. Ortiz batting now with Travis Shaw waiting on deck. 1 out in the 8th. Payoff pitch. And Ortiz fouls it back.
Three-two breaking ball that time to Ortiz. Able to just get a piece of it, foul it off.
Fouls off another. We'll see a 9th pitch in this at bat with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. In the dirt, ball 4, and David aboard for the 4th time tonight. So 1 out walk for Wade Davis. And it brings up Travis Shaw with a 6-game hitting streak coming into this game. Does not have a base hit tonight. Flied out to left, fouled out to the third baseman, and reached on a fielder's choice. And he takes strike 1 right at the bottom of the zone. Hanley Ramirez waiting on deck. Red Sox batting here in the bottom of the 8th. Swing and a miss. Shaw after the fastball 1-2.
That cut fastball again, and the cut fastball is 94 miles an hour. Little movement right at the end of that one, and you can see the little cut.
Trying to frame it there was Perez, but a little bit low. Wade Davis into the game here in the 8th inning. Going around, I think, was Shaw. Did he go? Yes, he did. Rung up by Bob Davidson. First strikeout for Davis.
It's tough, you know, when you got a guy out there throwing 99 to 100, and he's had one pitch tonight at 100. You're sitting obviously on fastballs, and you don't, you know, then you become very vulnerable to anything off speed. And that time, the curveball right there completely fools Shaw.
So 2 down, David Ortiz at first base, and brings up Hanley Ramirez. Wade Davis had a stretch, a club record, in fact, of 125 2/3 innings without allowing a home run. It was finally snapped on August 1st by Jose Bautista, the Blue Jays, who took him deep. Works here with 2 outs. Ortiz at first base. Two and 0. In the air to left center, hit well, and that ball is going to be hard off the wall. Kicks to Kane. Ortiz going to third as Ramirez into second with a double standing.
Now that's a couple of times tonight that Hanley Ramirez really has hit the ball hard, and that's a rocket off the wall in left center field. That's that cut fastball again, and That time Hanley all over it. Everybody trying to quicken their swing up a little bit for that hard fastball, and then that cutter comes a little bit slower, and Hanley's able to pull that ball very, very hard. That's, as I said, a couple that he's put on a line tonight, one to center field the last time up, and now this time he gets rewarded for the good swing.
Second and third, 2 down, and it brings up Blake Swihart. And a swing and a miss for strike one, the high fastball. Cutter again. Swihart getting confirmation from Wendelstedt that it would have been called a strike. Late swing, and that into the crowd sharply has Swihart down 0-2. Six hits in his last 8 at bats with runners in scoring position. He bats here with David Ortiz at third, Hanley Ramirez at second, and 2 down in the 8th inning. Popped up right side of the infield. Omar Infante puts it away, and the Red Sox strand 2 in scoring position. 6-2 Kansas City. We venture into the 9th inning. Red Sox changing pitchers as Tommy Lane, left-hander, into the game, becomes the 4th arm used tonight for Torey Lovello. 46 appearance for Lane, 0-1 with a 4.58 ERA, 37 1/3, 39 strikeouts. Opponent sitting at 259 against Lane. Takes over for Craig Breslow as Breslow ended up going an inning and 2/3. Gave up a run. Oh, squibber right foul as it's picked up by Swihart at the dish. Lorenzo Cain leading it off here for Kansas City in the 9th. Right-hander up for Kansas City, Kelvin Herrera. Kelvin Herrera last working on Wednesday against the Reds. Foul down the right field line, out of play. Center fielder Mookie Betts over towards right center. A lot of room in left center for Lorenzo Cain. 1-for-4 night for Cain. Had a single back in the first inning. And fouls off another to the right. On deck is Hosmer. Will be followed by Morales, with the Royals batting here in the top of the 9th inning. Up the middle and into center field. A base hit for Cain, his second hit of the night. Lead runner on for Kansas City here in the 9th inning.
Yeah, hit way back in the first inning with 2 outs. That was on a breaking ball, and of course they eventually scored 2 runs after that back in the first inning. Now in the 9th inning, picks up his second hit, a ground ball right up the middle. Under the glove of Tommy Lane and into center field.
Lead runner on for Kansas City, Eric Hosmer, the batter. He's got 2 hits tonight, both singles. As Lane throws to first base and Cain back to the bag.
And 24 steals on the season for Cain.
Strike over the outside corner, and it's 0-1 now to Hosmer. Chopped up the middle as Bogarts will go to first for the out there. And apparently got him at second base too. Did he apply the tag? 2 down, as not thinking so, and getting back to the bag is Cain. He's standing at second base. I didn't think he got him.
I think he got the bag with his foot. I think he did a nice job stretching out to get the second base bag with his foot. Let's see. Yeah.
Good job. Wow.
Really nice job by Bogarts right here. Contact, contact, contact right there with the balls in the glove. Very athletic play there by Xander Bogarts. Had to throw on top of the runner, Cain, who was not sliding either.
So second double play of the game turned by the Red Sox. 2 down here in the 9th inning. Kendrys Morales, who doubled in 2 runs in the first inning. We got the Royals out on a good start early in the game. Now a fly ball down the right field line, foul. They took a 2-0 lead after 1. They would add 3 more, and a Salvador Perez home run in the 6th inning. Had another run in the 8th. And it is 6-2. Kansas City on top right now as they bat in the 9th. Jackie Bradley Jr., Josh Rutledge, and Mookie Betts, the anticipated trio in the bottom of the 9th inning, 8, 9, and 1. Not close. 2-2.
Just a little bit outside. Just go off the Amica chart.
No, it still got in there. On the ground and foul. Right down that first base line. Tommy Lane coming in here to pitch the 9th inning. On the hook right now, Matt Barnes, the starter tonight. It went 5 1/3. Morales thought about it, but did not go. They check he did not, says Mike Everett. Little number out in front of the plate, and it is going to be a throw from Lane that gets there just in time to get Morales. Nice play by Tommy Lane. We head to the bottom of the 9th with work to do. 6-2 Kansas City. By Jackie Bradley Jr. on the right field line and headed towards the seats. I'm going to reach in to grab that right in front of the pole down the right field line.
It looks like he also got his side pretty good as he bumped into that wall out there in right field.
Now Jackie Bradley Jr. leading it off here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Red Sox trailing by 4. Kelvin Herrera into the game. 57th appearance, 4-2 with a 1.95 earned run average. 50 strikeouts, 20 walks. Opponent sitting at 181 against Herrera. And there's 97 for you for strike one.
Well, they brought some pretty good fastballs out of that bullpen, haven't they?
They got a lot of power arms. Certainly saw that in the postseason last year for Kansas City. So 44 scoreless appearances this year. That's worked on Wednesday night against Cincinnati. Allowed a hit and a walk. He's holding left-handers to a 140 average on the year. And that one by Bradley at 98. Well, the closer is about to start to warm up out there in the pen, looks like. To shortstop, and Escobar caught it basket style and throws out Bradley for the first out of the 9th inning. So one away, and it'll bring up Josh Rutledge. Rutledge with a base hit back in the 3rd inning, a single to right. Since then he has struck out and grounded out. One down in the 9th inning. There's strike one at 98. Holland kind of looking on, but has not yet thrown a pitch. Kind of limbering up down there, but going to see how things develop here before he actually warms up. And hit is Rutledge. 95 up and in. Now Holland starts to warm up.
Well, obviously that's the last thing Herrera wanted to do in this situation, is put anybody on base, and that fastball gets away from him, hits Rutledge, and with that kind of velocity, very little reaction time as a hitter. How about joining the Kansas City bullpen? You know, you walk down there for the first time with them and say, you know, what do you throw? And, well, I throw about 92. Well, get out of here. You don't throw hard enough. I mean, they got some incredible arms down there.
Yep. Mookie Betts homered his last time up, 11th home run of the year for Mookie. And he'll take strike one. There's strike two. Well, the home run coming back in the 7th inning for Mookie Betts, his 11th of the year. RBI number 58 of the season for Betts. The back of the monster seats. Royals infield here, a double play depth with one out, a runner at first base, and Rutledge. Pablo Sandoval waiting on deck with one out in the 9th inning. Fouled off of Salvador Perez.
A tough night back there for Salvador Perez,
I guess. Ooh. Rattled around.
Yeah, a couple of different spots.
Rally caps here at Fenway Park, down by 4 runs in the 9th. Up and in, and it's 2-2. On the ground left side, Moustakas backed up on it. Goes to second for one. They throw to first, but that's going to end up off the front of the Red Sox dugout. And run down by Hosmer. So the second out recorded at second base. They force out Rutledge, 2 down.
As I watching Mookie Betts when that throw went over the first baseman's head, and he kind of turned towards second base, and that means he had to get back to first base, because if they tag him, he could have been out. It was a throw that probably should have never been made right there. They had no chance to get a double play on Mookie Betts. You see Betts hustling back to first base just in case. See him turn towards second, make that move towards second base. Well, if they tag him, which they had no chance to, obviously, he would have been out.
Here is Sandoval with 2 down in the 9th inning. Fouled off to the left, out of play. Kelvin Herrera trying to wrap it up here with 2 down, a runner at first base. Kansas City on top 6-2. Matson, Davis, now Herrera out of the pen tonight after Ventura went the first 6 innings of this game. Pitcher of record right now for Kansas City. Taking second base is Mookie Betts on the defensive indifference. High for ball 3. Xander Bogaerts waiting on deck. 3-1 to Pablo Sandoval. And a swing and a miss, full count. 99 that time from Herrera.
Just challenging him with the fastball this time on the 3-1 count, and throws it right by Sandoval.
Payoff pitch. Sandoval stays alive. So we'll do it again here. 3-2 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. Mookie Betts at second base. This Royals contingent. Sandoval pops it up, foul ground. Perez gives it a look, but it's back into the seats. Johnny Cueto, the Red Sox able to beat here yesterday. A little different tonight against Giordano Ventura, who's vying for his 8th win of the year. He came in at 7-7 individually. Yost trying to get his first game of this series. 3-2 pitch. And it's fouled off again. Henry Owens, the winner last night. On the hook tonight is Matt Barnes, who went 5 1/3, came in at 3 3. He gave up 5 runs in his 5 1/3. 3-2 again to Pablo Sandoval. And it's down low, ball 4, and Sandoval works a walk. And here comes Ned Yost. He has got Holland in the pen. With a tying run on deck, this becomes a save situation with 2 outs here in the 9th, and he's going to go get his closer. So Holland will be coming in. 6-2 Kansas City. City on top. As Xander Bogaerts stepping in here with 2 on and 2 down. Bogaerts with a single back in the 6th inning, a 1-for-4 night. And back up the middle into center field, a base hit. Waved around his bats, he will score, and that run will be charged to Herrera. It's now 6-3. Second hit of the night for Bogaerts, who drives in a run.
Bogaerts not waiting around. First fastball away. I think he breaks his bat on that, but it ends up back up the middle and almost losing his balance and falling was Holland.
So now you have the potential tying run at the plate in David Ortiz. David has been on base 4 times tonight, 2 walks, 2 singles. Ball 1. Low 2-0. Well, the closer in here for Kansas City into his 41st game of the year. 27 out of 31 in save opportunities. 44 Ks and 37 2/3. A lot of walks, though. Has fallen behind Ortiz, 2-0. Swing and a miss. That one just dropped off the table. Travis Shaw on deck, hoping to get a chance here in the 9th. Red Sox making some noise. They've grabbed a run here so far. Ball 3. Swing and a miss. Full count. David geared up for the fastball and didn't get it.
Now he got the slider instead.
Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 down in the 9th. Outside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded.
And let's take a look at how they attacked David Ortiz in that bat. He started him off with a fastball that's going to be down and away. Then I think it's a couple of split-fingered fastballs right here. Back-to-back splitters, back to the fastball. A slider that Ortiz going to swing and miss, and then a fastball to try to put him away, but ends up outside for ball 4.
David Ortiz going to be pinch run for after the walk that loads the bases. Alejandro De Aza now runs and represents the tying run at first base. Here's Travis Shaw. Pops it up on the first pitch. Left side of the infield. Moustakas under it. And that is the ball game. So the Red Sox make some noise in the bottom of the 9th inning, but come away with a run and lose this one tonight 6-3, and finally lose against the Kansas City Royals here tonight. The Red Sox 4-game winning streak comes to an end, so the Red Sox still have not won 5 games straight in 2015. So Holland will pick up the save as Ventura gets the win, Barnes the loss. Final again 6-3 Kansas City as we send it to Tom Caron.